Hi everyone, I'm coming to you today from, well, pretend, the Armenian Genocide Memorial in Yerevan, Armenia. So let's get started. As you guys remember, we've been talking about witch hunts for a couple of weeks now, not only from the historical context of Europe and the Salem witch trials, but also from modern ethnographic examples that exist in the world today. But what I'd like to talk about today are actually metaphorical witch hunts, where we use the term witch hunt in the United States to refer to a wild search, often without evidence, full of accusations, searching for some kind of scapegoat. In other words, we use it a lot in sort of the court of public opinion today, where we say, well, somebody's searching for a scapegoat and all these accusations are going around. Of course, I'm innocent. This is a witch hunt.
I think it's ridiculous. It's a witch hunt. I'm leading in the polls. They have no idea how they stop me. The only way they can try is through impeachment. This has never happened to a president before.
Perhaps the most famous example of this from recent history comes from the McCarthy era and the Second Red Scare. This is when Senator Joe McCarthy, who was a Republican, decided to hold a lot of public hearings to basically go after people he didn't like. Communist spies, agents of the USSR, sympathizers to their cause, but also anybody that McCarthy didn't like, and also gay people because he didn't like them. It was a time of kind of civil unrest. There were public hearings. There's a famous movie named Trumbo about the Hollywood blacklists, where certain celebrities or artists were blacklisted from working in Hollywood or Broadway because they might be gay or they might be sympathetic to communist causes. And there was so much public controversy over it because it was essentially a public witch hunt that McCarthy was actually censured by the Senate. Today, we talk about the Red Scare kind of as a metaphor for some of the social problems that are going on today and the way that conservative pundits are pushing out those that they feel are socialists or Antifa or something like that. So we're starting to see sort of public concern, and you'll see in some of that discourse people calling to the symbols of the McCarthy era. During the McCarthy era, we also have The Crucible, and The Crucible is Arthur Miller's play based on the Salem witch trials. But Arthur Miller was a brilliant American playwright, and part of his brilliance was being able to take everyday situations or historical situations and use them as allegorical tales, comment on everyday or modern political concerns. So he wrote about the Salem witch trials, but really what it was an allegory for the McCarthy trials. And Arthur himself had to testify. Like, there was a chance he was almost blacklisted in this whole Red Scare McCarthy era thing. He had to testify in front of the Un-Americans Activities Committee, which were the committees that McCarthy used during his hearings in Congress. I'm actually having you guys read, in Arthur Miller's own words, why he chose to write The Crucible at the time that he did and what ramifications he felt that it should have on the political discourse of his times. The 1953 play won a Tony for Arthur Miller. When it was adapted into the 1996 film, which you guys are going to watch the trailer of, he also won an Oscar for that. And so was the McCarthy era a metaphorical witch hunt, right? So it's often called a witch hunt today, but is that just a metaphor? In my opinion, it actually was literally a witch hunt. If a witch hunt is when the dominant group of people select individuals that they feel a lot of social tension with and they want to expunge from the community, that's a witch hunt. Just because they didn't have Bibles and stakes to burn people at doesn't mean that it wasn't a witch hunt. They were still literally looking for the witches. It's just that the witches didn't do magic. It's just that the witches had political beliefs that McCarthy didn't agree with. So what about other witch hunts, right? When we talk about, for example, the Benghazi hearings with Hillary Clinton, when we talk about Donald Trump and the idea of a witch hunt with his impeachment, are these metaphorical or are these actually literal witch hunts pointing to social tensions, looking for scapegoats? So something I want you to think about is what's going on in our current political climate, and that is cancel culture. Cancel culture is the idea that if somebody sort of that presents themselves as a progressive or liberal member of Hollywood or the music industry or some other entertainment industry, and then it turns out that they don't necessarily hold those values or they haven't expressed those values in real life. for example, by actually being misogynistic on set, or being a bully on set, or actually not caring about Black lives, then we should culture cancel them. We should essentially stop allowing them to be a part of our culture, cancel their television shows, stop buying their music. Cancel culture is something that sort of has emerged in the past couple of years as a way of virtue signaling and social ostracization within the progressive side of America's political culture right now. Are these witch hunts? Are these modern day witch hunts? That's certainly something we're going to debate in section. But one thing is for sure, these are a sign of deepening social tension, exactly the kind of environment that accusations of witchcraft occur in. All right, guys, thank you very much for listening, and make sure you check out all of the readings and videos in this week's module. Thanks so much.